President Park Geun-hye is back in Korea after her 8-day overseas itinerary to Russia and Vietnam. North Korea may have restarted operations at its nuclear reactor in Yongbyon, closed since 2008. And the Broadcast Worldwide Trade Fair has opened in Seoul. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Thursday, September 12th. I'm Luke Clary. President Park Geun-hye is back in Korea after her 8-day overseas itinerary in Russia and Vietnam. She made her official multinational debut at the G20 Summit in St. Petersburg and opened her sales diplomacy drive in Vietnam.
At the G20 Summit and with world leaders, President Park Geun-hye met and got acquainted with them. Park also took the initiative to mediate clashes of interest between countries.
추구 전략 관련해서 선진국과 신흥국을 엮는 가교의 리더십을 발휘하지 않았나 이렇게 생각을 하고 있습니다.
On her visit to Vietnam, she adopted the diplomatic strategy of approaching the people's hearts. Park took part in a fashion show wearing a traditional Korean hanbok and paid a visit to the grave of late former President Ho Chi Minh. With the relationship now strengthened by the two leaders, Korea and Vietnam aim to conclude a bilateral FTA by next year and expand trade to $70 billion by 2020. Korean firms were also promised to play a role in Vietnam's large-scale government projects, such as building thermoelectric power plants. Furthermore, although Vietnam is still a communist country, showing support for Seoul's North Korea policy was another feat achieved by President Park's visit.
South and North Korea have agreed to resume operations at the Kaesong Industrial Complex starting on September 16th. The two Koreas also agreed to revise regulations on travel, communications, and customs at the inter-Korean complex in line with international standards.
The Kaesong Industrial Complex is set to reopen on September 16th, about 160 days after being shut down. North and South Korea reached the agreement on Wednesday with their newly formed Joint Management Committee.
16일부터는 우리 기업인들이 원할 경우에 공단에 체류하고 시운전 거쳐서 가동에 들어가기로 하였습니다.
The supply of power and water will be normalized beginning Friday. Restaurants and other convenient facilities will reopen on the weekend, and a medical team will soon be stationed there. The Secretariat of the Inter-Korean Joint Management Committee will begin operations within this month. An inter-Korean mediation body tasked with settling disputes in the complex will also be established. Although not immediately, people will soon be able to enter and exit the park freely. Previously, they had to submit visit applications 3 days before their scheduled cross-border trips. But with the reopening of the park, electronic passes are to be introduced. Internet and mobile phone services will also be available this year. Seoul and Pyongyang will also compensate South Korean companies hit hard by the lockdown. North Korea will exempt them from paying this year's taxes while extending the deadline for last year's.
North Korea watchers say the communist regime may have restarted operations at its nuclear reactor in Yongbyon, which was shut down in 2008. Satellite images reveal white steam rising from the facility.
Citing various diplomatic sources, Japan's Kyodo News Agency recently reported that the satellite pictures of the Yongbyon nuclear reactor in North Korea showed white smoke around the facility. The agency added that the smoke is presumed to be steam produced by the reactor, which was restarted late last month. The Yongbyon nuclear reactor is a 5-megawatt facility that can produce 6 kilograms of plutonium annually by reprocessing discarded nuclear fuel rods. That's enough to produce one nuclear weapon. Kyodo News also said that it's still unclear if the reactor was operating on a pilot or regular basis because the smoke appeared to be temporary. Sources also say that authorities are investigating the matter because the possibility that the North is simply testing the reactor's cooling device without having loaded nuclear fuel rods into the facility cannot be ruled out. Late last month, the International Atomic Energy Agency said that it found traces of the construction of a new building and ditch digging in the vicinity of the Yongbyon reactor. North Korea decided to suspend the reactor according to the agreement of the six-party nuclear talks of 2007 and destroyed the reactor's cooling tower the following year. But it announced its plans to produce nuclear weapons again in April this year.
Prime Minister Jung Hong-won was dispatched to Miryang, currently embroiled in controversy over government plans to build transmission towers there. Locals strongly oppose the project in spite of compensation offers from the government.
The construction of transmission towers in Miryang was suspended back in May due to the strong protest of local residents. Prime Minister Jung Hong-won has visited the city for the first time to meet with the locals. Jung said that the transmission towers were absolutely necessary and that the government would do its best to compensate and support local residents. Jung blamed the government and the Korea Electric Power Corporation for the prolonged conflict.
정부도 여러분의 배려에 잊지 않고 보답을 하겠다는 그런 뜻을 전하기 위해서 오늘 왔습니다.
Meanwhile, the Korea Electric Power Corporation has decided to pay around $3,600 in compensation to each household in the area. Of the total compensation amount of $17 million, 40% or $6.8 million will be paid to households, while the remaining amount will be used to fund local projects. But residents who are still opposed to the construction blocked the Prime Minister and his aides to express their protest. They vowed to hamper the project with their own bodies if the construction resumes, because the authorities have failed so far to address the issue of installing power lines underground. The Korea Electric Power Corporation plans to resume construction at 6 sites in Miryang after the Chuseok holiday.
The Ministry of Education will review 8 newly approved history textbooks. The decision follows controversy over one textbook's conservative historical views.
Education ministers Ho Nam-soo made it clear that the government would not cancel the approval of a particular history textbook that has been a source of controversy lately due to its questionable facts. But he went further and announced a decision to review all 8 new history textbooks. The ministry, along with the National Institute of Korean History, will perform an in-depth analysis. If results show that some books need to be partially revised or edited, the ministry is planning to advise publishers to rewrite their textbooks. The review and revision will be completed at latest by the end of next month. Accordingly, the deadline for schools in choosing the textbooks they wish to use will be extended from mid-October to late November.
한국사의 경우에는 11월 말까지 선정 주문을 연기하고 수정 보완된 교과서를 학교 현장에 공급한 후 채택 주문하도록 할 예정입니다.
The ministry also plans to improve the system of reviewing and approving textbooks by recruiting more evaluators or extending the review period.
In a move to create jobs and cut retraining costs for businesses, the government will soon introduce an academic system in which high school graduates can earn their degree while working.
This small-sized firm produces auto parts. Last October, it hired 7 students who were still attending technical high schools and who graduated in February this year. They joined the company as regular employees when they were still in 12th grade. Since then, they have received technological training. Park Geun-hye, who graduated from a high school in February this year, landed a job at a department store run by a conglomerate. He takes in-house classes and plans to one day pursue higher education.
대학을 가가지고 추가적인 공부를 할 수 있다면은 좀 더 나은 지식을 쌓아가지고 더 열심히 일할 수 있지 않을까.
The government plans to recognize the academic degrees of young people who gain hands-on experience by working. For example, high school seniors who start working during the second semester of their final year in school can earn their high school diploma after working for 6 months and receiving a work performance evaluation. If they work 2 more years, they will be eligible for a professional degree. But critics say that this could undermine the basic meaning of education by placing excessive emphasis on work skills.
일반 교양교육이라든지 일반 소양교육이겠죠. 교육적 차원에서의 그 어떤 노력, 이것은 일정 정도 필요하지 않을까.
The government will first select 50 companies by the end of the year to operate the system on a pilot basis and discuss the issue of academic degree recognition with the Ministries of Employment and Education.
Broadcast worldwide, the International Broadcasting Trade Fair has opened in Seoul, where participants have shown a keen interest in Korean programs.
This is a Korean drama called Secret Love. It stars the members of the girl group Kara, which is playing a role in promoting the Korean wave overseas. Buyers from some 10 countries expressed their willingness to purchase the drama even before being broadcast. Around 1,500 representatives from 60 countries have come together for the Broadcast Worldwide 2013 Expo to sell and buy dramas, entertainment shows, animations, and documentaries. This is the largest broadcasting trade fair Asia has ever seen. The sales of Korean broadcasts have surged more than 6 times, from $6.46 million in 2001 when the inaugural fair opened. It's expected to reach $46 million this year. The explosive growth is thanks to the popularity of Korean dramas overseas.
사전 수요 조사를 해서 미팅을 좀 많이 확대시키고 그다음에 우리가 투자 유치 설명회 같은 것도 해서 한국 콘텐츠가 해외에 많이 판매되도록 그런 기회를 제공하는 데 역점을 뒀습니다.
The 13th Broadcast Worldwide event is proving why the broadcasting industry is being viewed as a key driving force for the government's Creative Economy initiative.
In showbiz news, a duet featuring Soyu of the girl group Sistar and rapper Mad Clown topped music charts shortly after its release. Meanwhile, fans of singer-actor Park Geun-hye have established a library on an island village.
The duet song Stupid in Love, performed by Soyu of the girl group Sister and rapper Mad Clown, is about a heartbroken couple. It features appealing vocals and impressive rapping skills. The song drew the spotlight even before its release because it's performed by top artists. It topped 9 music charts shortly after its release. And fans of singer-slash-actor Park Geun-hye have set up a library dedicated to the singer in an island village in Sinan County, South Cholla Province, to mark the 3rd anniversary of the fan community. Park's fans have been carrying out philanthropic activities for 3 years now by raising funds for patients with severe burns and helping to set up study rooms for low-income people. They have provided around $92,000 to the underprivileged over the past 3 years.
The international appeal of Korean pop culture is constantly on the rise. It's called Hallyu, or the Korean wave, and it's become so widespread that foreigners from around the world are putting their Korean expertise to the test in the Korean culture quiz competition. A mosaic of people representing various countries converge in Gyeongju, Korea to match wits on Korean culture. Taking part in this show, the contestants' understanding of Korean culture naturally improves by leaps and bounds. They hail from 30 countries. That's up from last year. Many of the contestants are also impressed by Korean food.
떡볶이를 만들 거예요. 아니에요, 처음이에요. 그냥 먹어봤어요. 네, 있어요.
A Korean cooking battle unfolds. Participants here with fluent Korean skills try their hand at Korean cuisine. Their dishes range from the seasoned rice cake dish tteokbokki to soybean paste stew. The 30 national representatives present their Korean dishes for judging, and the winner is chosen on the spot.
오늘의 요리왕은 떡볶이.
The food challenge was as fierce as the quiz competition itself, but the contestants chum it up during dinner, sharing the spoils of the competition.
음식도 1등 했으니까 퀴즈도 1등 할 수 있는 것 같습니다. 네, 기대하세요.
These lovers of Korea also share their talents.
그
they each turn in renditions of their favorite songs. Through the Korean pop phenomenon, they've also developed interest in Korean history and culture. For instance, the Korean martial art Taekwondo.
저는요, 중학교 때부터 한국 드라마를 즐겨 봤어요. 그 드라마 안에 남자들 아니면 여자들도 자기 몸은 잘 지켜서 태권도를 배우게 됐어요.
Back in Seoul, it's all come down to this, the day of the competition. The 30 contestants dress in the traditional clothes of their homelands. The mood in the waiting room is tense.
지금 긴장되고 기대돼요.
But win or lose, these contestants are happy to have this opportunity.
1등 하는 것도 중요하지만 이렇게 여러 나라에서 온 사람들과 같이 한국어 말로 얘기하면서 한국 문화를 배우는 게 더 재미있고 더 중요한 것 같습니다.
Here, a common interest in Korean culture has bound people of 30 different countries, all of whom are taking away precious memories.
세계 나라에서 온 친구들하고 친구로 삼아서 또 즐거웠어요. 여러 나라 사람들하고 경쟁을 하면서 재밌는 공연도 보고 재밌는 이야기도 듣고 그래서 재밌었어요.
더 많은 나라에서 참가하기를 희망을 하고 있습니다. 앞으로 계속 확대시켜 나갈 것입니다. 저희 희망으로서는 제10회 퀴즈 온 코리아는 퀴즈 온 코리아 올림픽처럼 만들고자 하는 것입니다.
The Korean wave is drawing global citizens to explore other dimensions of Korean culture. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Have a great day.